Hey everyone, I'm Jared Ezeri, and I'll be presenting with my creative nonfiction essay. The big question that I wanted to answer was how can we best explain what it means to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through creative nonfiction? Throughout the semester, reading the creative nonfiction from Jesse Curtis, Linda Hoffman Kimball, Teresa Wellborn, and Stephen Peck, I realized how powerful their experiences were and how they were making that creative and more from a documentary into something more creative and something that we can relate to and take messages from. In particular, My Madness was probably the most interesting literature that I read this semester, just because of what it contained in Stephen Peck's personal story. At first, the writing really confused me because I was busy wondering what it was trying to convey, if there were any hidden messages and everything like that in there. But listening to Dr. Peck tell us how it was basically a literal experience that he had really solidified how creative nonfiction can help me convey how I am a member of the church. And not only because of what his experience was, but because of the messages that it contained, the underlying messages, I should say. He was able to take the experience and use it to relate to principles like improving relationships with others, relying on God to help us through trials, and the constant need to improve while we are here on the earth. And his presentation really stood out to me as a way we can use fiction to explain what it means to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So for my excerpts from my creative nonfiction essay, just as a background, I wrote this on the experience me and my wife had when our first son was born. So I guess I'll just read it. And after what seemed like only a moment, I look up to see our beautiful baby boy coming to greet us for the very first time. It was early in the morning after a long, long night of pain for my incredibly patient wife. I get up from my wife's side and move quickly to where they're cleaning off little Ephraim, for that is the name we chose for him. His tiny, squinting eyes, his swollen red head, his tiny, fragile hands, and his plump, rosy cheeks seemed to have a power over me, pulling me closer to him. As he was cleaned up, red turned to pink, which turned to peach. As I sat there later in my wife's recovery room, holding that little boy in my arms so tenderly, I realized how it feels to be a dad. It is unlike anything that can be imagined. No portrayal in the world can describe the feeling that changed me in that exact moment. It was wholeness and helplessness, joy and fear, beauty and pain, peace and turbulence. As I look over at my resting wife, I see a hero. She did something that I never could. Being there in the moment was the only thing on my mind. Being present for her and for our little baby Ephraim was what changed me from a boy to a man to a father. Thanks for listening to my presentation.